Fine. Then show me. Come on, guys. Come on, get down.
Hey everybody, welcome to our podcast. I'm Jason.
And I'm Karen.
And this is Walking Dead cast episode 17.
Woo.
We've been, this is like 20 hours of zombie talk that we've done.
These are really about 20 hours. Wow. Who would be
We should do the next 20 hours in one single episode.
That's not fun.
Jane Jack did the 30 hours or
Oh,
something.
it's awesome. Their whole, like, yeah, they're lots of fun. They got some great interviews during that
Oh,
thing, too.
yeah. Well, Jorge Garcia always used to go on there.
Yeah,
He was
the
great.
40 yeah.
So we just got done with Thanksgiving here in the States, and I hope everybody had a good Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
I was just telling Karen that we were at Jenny's family's house last night, and I left at about 6:55 to go upstairs and watch The Walking Dead, and Jenny did too, and they're like, where are you guys going? And Jenny's mom had to come up there partway to ask her a question, and you hear this little knock at the door, and Jenny like cracks it open, and inside the room is like, rah, rah, rah. I'm sure Jenny's like, what the hell are they doing in there?
Hey, zombies, man. It's true, my family, they still have no idea what this whole podcast is about. And nobody really knows. Because my father, bless his heart, he actually listened to an episode, and he said, this is my 83-year-old dad, and he said, honey, I didn't much care for the content. You and Jason sound great.
Thanks.
Thanks, Dad.
So before we get on with the show, I just wanted to thank everybody listening for making us the #1 Walking Dead podcast on iTunes right now. So thanks a lot. We really appreciate that, and we both have a lot of fun doing this, and it's really cool to have all you people listening and taking part in it with us.
Yep, and thanks for sending us your comments and everything. It's great.
Calls, yeah, all
I was
that.
pretty stoked all week long thinking about the guy who wrote from Brazil.
Oh, yeah,
You know what I mean?
cool.
Yeah.
I hope that guy writes again.
Yeah, right back. I remember his name was that.
And then one more thing, I would like to get more active on Twitter and interact with people more. I don't really know how to use Twitter all that well, but I want to learn. And so and I've been doing some tweets here and there, getting some good tweets from you guys. We'll go read later. But if you're not already following and you're interested in being part of that, you can follow us at twitter.com/Jason and Karen.
Even though Jason doesn't really know how to use it.
I just don't feel like I totally get it, because I'm used to email, and on Twitter it's like sometimes everybody can read and can you tell what you're replying to and all this stuff, but I need to direct message people that are following you. I'm getting it slowly, but anyway, it seems like it'd be a fun way to kind of check in with people and get cool little comments.
Yeah,
and stuff. So on today's show, we have Deadcast Top 5, our top 5 highlights of episode 5, Wildfire. Then we'll do listener moans, groans, and grunts, a bit of news about the show, some comic talk, and next week on Walking Dead.
All right.
Let's get right into it. Deadcast Top 5, our top 5 highlights of episode 5, Wildfire. And I just wanted to mention that these tend to be my 5 favorite things, but I also think it's good to just have things that I'm interested in talking about. Top 5 things I'm interested in talking about doesn't necessarily have to be things that I even like necessarily, but I think the things I'm interested in talking about usually are things that I'm stoked about.
Yeah. But actually, there are a couple of things I wasn't as stoked about. I really can't wait to talk about.
Cool.
So they did not make my top 5. These are like top 5 things I really enjoyed about it.
Okay, cool.
And yeah, but in general, before we start, I did like this episode. I like them. I think they're great.
I liked it. I watched it twice. I usually watch it again in the morning, and when I watched it the first time, I wasn't so sure I liked it. I knew I liked it, but it felt really sad and heavy and depressing.
Yeah.
And I watched it again today, and I liked it more. I think I was also reading people's tweets and things about it, and I liked it more, but it was more depressing.
Yeah. I felt like even though last week a lot of people died,
Yeah.
I thought that this week's was a little more heavy.
Yeah.
I don't know why.
Well, there was a lot of mourning going on, and it was, and especially Carol like smashing her husband's skull.
Oh, yeah,
that was
yeah.
really sad. He
was dead already.
I know, but she's like crying, and you can totally see fragments of his skull caving in, and she's like crying, but she's doing the best at the same time, so it's a little bit twisted.
Yeah, she's definitely had a look at every moment there, everything in his head.
Okay,
Yeah.
let's go.
All right, so my number 5 was something that played through the entire episode, which was the music. I really noticed it this time, and I have to say, Bear McCreary, is that his name, right? He's on top of his game. I loved it. I thought it was awesome, and it really played into something I'm going to talk about for my number 1.
He's talked about how they're deliberately trying to avoid some of the tropes of horror movie music. Like sometimes when you would normally expect, like there's a quiet moment just before something big happens, and you expect that tense or something. It's nothing. There's no music.
Right.
So he's like making an effort to keep it really spare and unpredictable in that way. And I agree. I think it really works.
I noticed it last night, and I loved it.
Cool. Number 5, Rick. Well, this is all about Rick. It's kind of nebulous, but I wrote Rick living with the consequences of his decisions and questioning himself.
Yeah.
I really felt like this episode was the core of it was about Rick accepting the responsibility and burden of protecting everybody. And mostly it's because he's been making these big decisions. And in the last episode, he made the decision to go into town and get the guns and try to help Merle. And then the camp got attacked, and so now he's realizing that the decisions he makes have consequences, and he's questioning whether or not he's right. And it's not totally clear. Although I think it's pretty clear because I think he had a really good point that when they brought back those guns and probably saved everybody.
Yeah, and I agree with when he asked, you can tell he's actually questioning things too. But he asked Lori even, are you blaming me?
Yeah.
And he's basically trying to get some sort of validation for his actions. And I disagree with her. She said that we're weaker now, we have fewer people. But I think the more people they have, the more people are going to die, and they were running low on food, and it just got complicated. I think they're kind of fewer people. It makes them a little more. I don't know.
It's good to have like a few slow people that they can have trailing behind.
Exactly.
Also, like, what would he have done if he was there? I mean, he's not going to stop Amy from peeing. Maybe. I mean, if he is, they should have someone else to be a peace officer. It doesn't have to be a cop.
Well said.
I wrote down some stuff in here. Oh yeah, so Rick says to Carl, "I won't leave again. I promise you that. Not for anything." Do you believe him when he says that?
No, of course not. Come on.
Very easy. Right.
Yeah.
It's clear that people are looking at Rick as leader. Even in his delirium, Jim says he's like, "Watch the man grows. The roots will guide up the whole boat." You know that, right? And he's there swimming. "You'll watch the boat, right?" He said you would. And Rick, instead of just saying, "You're nuts," he's like, "I'll watch the boat. Don't worry."
Yeah.
It's like a big burden, but he's like, "I'll take care of everything."
Yeah, you can see the weight is on his shoulders.
Yeah,
You can tell it's dragging him down when he didn't think they were going to get into the CDC.
Oh, yeah.
And he has a little freak out there at the door. It's because he has no backup plan.
I know. He's like, "You're killing us."
Right, exactly. Not exactly. I mean, it was your decision to go.
Yeah. And then the last thing, it feels to me like Jim is sort of reinforcing or bestowing this burden onto Rick, or because he said, "You're going to watch the boat, right?" And sort of making Rick confirm. And then later, when Jim's asking to be left behind, he says to Rick, "Now that's on me, my decision, not your failure."
Yeah.
So he's sort of saying, "This is, everything else is on you, but not this."
Well, and he knows that Rick will blame himself.
Yes, he knows that. But I don't know. I kind of think he thinks that Rick should have that responsibility or something.
Right.
But anyway, that's true. Also, he's just trying to protect Rick, saying, "It's okay, it's my thing."
Right. The burden of leadership, man. It's a theme through Lost too.
That's right. Yeah.
I realized that we heavy on Jack, heavy on anybody who leads a group of people, and then they lose people, and then you have to question everything. Yeah. The zombie apocalypse is going to be a bummer all the way around. My number 4. Dale catches Shane lining up Rick in the crosshairs of Skyfall. What does he say?
Jesus. And then Shane's like, I know.
Yeah.
We need reflective gear out here. Yeah.
Everyone looks like a deer. The guy standing 10 feet away from him looks a lot like a deer.
And I have this crazy look in my eye because I thought it was a deer.
Dale's onto him. He is onto him. And pretty soon he's going to warn. I mean, didn't he already warn Rick? Or does he warn Rick in the comic? I keep confusing what happens in the comic with the show, but at some point he warns.
In the comic, I don't think this is too spoilers because it's already kind of happened in the show, but in the comic he tries to let Rick know that Shane has been with Lori.
Right.
And Rick is kind of like, I can't hear you. He doesn't want to hear it.
Exactly. I agree completely.
Okay, my number 4 was the whole process of Jim turning. I thought he did such a good job of acting. First of all, he was like denying it. He's a good denier. Like, no, nothing. Yeah.
Right.
And then when they actually see it, he's still going, okay.
Yeah. Even myself, he was in the RV and he was starting to turn. He was like, no, that's not
Not this, yeah.
Oh, it was great. I love that actor. I love it.
Yeah, and I love when I can imagine somebody writing those lines oh no, not this, and not imagining how well it could be acted.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
really, I love when those lines you imagine them to be kind of hokey, but then when they're acted, he does a really good job making it believable that you talking to yourself.
Right, he just takes that part. And he was actually my number 3.
Well, I just wanted to know. So they left Jim sitting at the tree there,
Yeah.
and everybody kind of nodded at him, took turns, sort of saying. And then the last guy in line was Daryl, and he had his crossbow there. Did you think he was going to shoot him?
I absolutely thought that. I mean, he's gonna cross pretty much.
Yeah,
you know,
they're messing with us.
Oh, they totally are. Yeah, I love Jim. I love that actor, and I loved him in the comic. And I think I was hoping that he would do as good a job in the show. They would do as good a job with his character in the show. I think with him in the comic, and it was just as good. I was not disappointed.
One thing that I like a little better in the comic about the whole situation is they made it really clear in the comic that he was kind of hoping to become a zombie and go hang out with the zombie family.
Yeah.
And they didn't really do that in the show. Jenny didn't get that out of it.
Oh, really?
She hasn't read the
He
comic
says
yet.
no.
He says I want to be with my family,
Right,
but
it doesn't really.
yeah, it's
They're
not clear that they're going to have a zombie family.
Right, they're gonna have a zombie home.
Go
Yeah.
out and kill some humans and bring them back for Thanksgiving dinner.
We got roasted brains, boiled brains.
And cranberry sauce.
Enjoy. This is what I'm thankful for. Brains.
Brains, I think I still have one arm.
Okay, that was my third one. Cheers.
Number 3 for me is Amy coming back to life.
Yeah.
I liked her. It was scary.
Yeah.
Well, this show is weird because it's so serious and significant, everything's significant and weighty, but they're also doing the like fun horror tropes where like they're hanging out right over this chick that you know is about to turn into a zombie and they're pretending like they don't care or notice, and you think that maybe at any point she'll just wake up and start and lunge right into Andrea's throat.
Right. But she could. I mean, that's a zombie trope for sure. You know, so he'd ride up and go right for the jugular.
But it's weird because we're like expected to be being invested in characters right there and being like, oh, it's a touching moment. But what ruins that for me is like, get away from the zombie, Jesus.
The whole time. And we love Andrea too. We don't want to see her eaten, and we don't want to see her eaten by Amy.
If it's gonna be anyone, I would like to see Amy actually, but I
By
don't
the way,
want to see her.
did you think that that's one thing that I was reading a couple people's comments and a couple guys said? Did anyone else think that even after Amy came back to sun, she was still hot? I asked David, and he was like,
Yeah, she had beautiful eyes.
Yeah,
Her eyes were awesome.
yeah,
But
they were.
I have to say, I think she should have been a little more gruesome looking. She still had kind of a longing look in her eye, like a little too human, I thought. Like my sister.
Yeah, well, she and everybody was telling her how sorry she was, and sort of had that sisterly moment with her, and maybe there was a little piece of her humanity, and you're saying that she should have been just
She's like, ah. But and then, what was I going to say?
And Andrea was a badass, man. Caught his sister.
I knew she was going to do that.
I didn't. I thought that somebody else would have wasted Amy.
No, because she had the gun already, and she's like had it all
Not
taken out
already.
for me. But one more thing is like I felt like Emma Bell got a little bit gyppy because she only got like 30 seconds of zombie time, and I really wanted to see her lurching around, wandering around the camp.
That would have been nice.
Oh well, it was still number 3 favorite moment.
Did she get wasted by Andrea in the comic?
I think so, but I think it's off screen.
Oh,
You hear
okay.
bang or something.
Right.
Go ahead and look, but I think so.
Okay, my number 2. I liked all throughout the episode. I liked Rick having conversations with Morgan on the walkie-talkies. I really liked. I liked it at the beginning, and I think it was a great sort of thing, a tool they kind of used for getting into Rick's head for how it was going, which is poorly.
Did you think? I mean, to me, it felt like it was going off into the ether. Do you think Morgan actually heard it?
Yeah,
You do?
I do. Sure, absolutely. I think Morgan.
I think you do,
And I think that he's been. I think they were sort of making the point that he's been talking to Morgan the last couple of. I mean, he's been talking off and on more than they showed. So during one of those times, there's got to be some point where Morgan was on the walkie-talkies.
Oh yeah, but never answered though. Oh, you think he answered it?
No. I don't.
Everybody heard it. Yeah, okay.
Although, why wouldn't you answer? Why wouldn't you answer?
On the show, sometimes you can hear and you can't answer on the CDs.
Yes.
Okay, my number 2 was kind of when you said Shane pointing his gun at Rick. The whole scene I thought was just really well done.
Yes,
The way it was
it was.
staged,
Yeah.
the camera kind of moved around. You see a weird look in Shane's eye, but I didn't realize what was happening until the camera moves around and you see that it's pointing right at Rick. And I'm like, oh,
Yeah,
that was good.
yeah.
And then with Dale coming in and seeing him, he's got this look like, you're a bastard. What the hell are you doing?
Oh, and Jeffrey Lynn was great in this episode.
And just the whole thing with Shane. I mean, I really think it's interesting how Shane has all these different impulses about Rick. He's mad at him for leaving,
Yep.
but then he wants to kill him and make him go away forever.
Yeah.
He says to Lori that he's having to break habits whether he likes it or not.
Yeah.
So he still wants her, but then in the next scene he's telling everybody they should follow Rick and stay together. And even though it all seems a bit conflicting, it's totally believable.
Yeah.
And I'm starting to like Shane a little bit more. I mean, he's obviously seriously flawed, but it just seems like he's having a tough time.
Yeah. Here he was beforehand. He was a leader of the whole group, and presumably nobody got under his watch. He's a leader. He's teaching the kid how to catch frogs. He's got the girl. He's got he's got pretty much a whole new family. And it's all taken away.
But I know I didn't know he is still the one giving all the orders to everybody. Like when they decide to go, he tells everyone, "Okay, I trust Rick. We're gonna go." So he's still kind of the one who seems like he has the final say, even though it's clear in this episode that people are really looking to Rick to protect them.
Yep.
So it's that power struggle thing.
Yeah, Rick's the one who has the uniform though. So.
I know.
Anyway.
I'm sure that helps. Shane should be like, I'll join you with that.
My number 1 was when we were talking about Amy and Andrea. That super touching moment. The music in the background was really. You're just waiting for Amy to come back as a zombie girl, and she finally does. And you're like, "Hey, we should get her. Come on."
She reaches up with her hand slowly.
Yeah.
It's like half tender and half, I'm gonna eat you.
Right. And Andrew's the badass clocks her.
What I liked about that scene is I don't think I've ever really quite seen a zombie scene like that before. It was kind of unique.
Oh, the whole waiting for the zombification to happen.
Well, we've seen that, but where it's someone who loved the person who's turning and is trying to have a tender moment but kill them right away. I don't know if I've ever seen that before. I don't know.
And by the way, isn't it way more painful to be alive and turn into a zombie like Jim rather than be dead and come back to life?
That's right. Those are two different.
Two different kinds of zombies. Yeah, we did.
But we get to really see Jim complete the transformation. But yeah,
His bones were hurting. His bones were like glass.
Jamie has a great call about that later. I want to repeat something he said, but I'll let him say it. It's good. Okay, my number 1 is at the end when they're standing at the CDC and the zombies start appearing. A couple of zombies appear, like in the walkers. I just like when people are in trouble from zombies. So I like that. That whole scene was kind of intense. Too,
It was.
It was a little bit, I don't know if you read much Stephen King. Have you?
No.
It's like a lot of times they'll have a group of kind of disparate characters in an apocalyptic world and they're traveling together. And it just totally reminded me of that. And the Stand was like that in Dark Tower.
And this?
Yeah. That's true.
By the way, about that scene, I had kind of beef with that. Because,
Oh,
and it's not a beef against the show, it's a beef against Rick's decision to have every single one of them come with him to the front door of the CDC. I mean, it's
It does.
littered. Yes, it does. It is littered with bodies that could reanimate at any point and become zombies. And he has the entire group come with him to the front door of the CDC. The front door, by the way, he doesn't even know if there's anybody in there. He has no idea. He could just park closer. Because there's really a park now. They could park closer. He could have them stay in the safety of the vehicles, train their rifles, and to pick off any zombies. And he could have just gone up there and banged on the door. Just seems to me.
Live together, die alone.
That's your response. Really.
Mortal Jack Shepherd.
Who also, by the way, a questionable leader. Right, and a dead. Okay.
No, you're right. It was just more dramatic that way, I guess.
Yeah, they
But
got
it was dumb. Yeah. That was another moment where, okay, so I agree with you. It was flawed, and I think just for the sake of drama. But it was also another moment where Rick, he now knows that his decisions have the potential to save or not the lives of these people who depend on him. And yet he's still making these risky decisions, based on his hunches. And he turned out to be right. But I guess he was lucky.
Yes, he was lucky. He was lucky. There was a little fit, and it appealed to the crazy doctor inside.
Okay, a few other notes.
Me too.
Last week we saw that IMDb listed Adam Mirovich being in this episode as Ed, but we only saw Ed's crushed soul. So I guess IMDb was wrong.
Only the Crystal.
I like that they got out of they're getting out on the road out of camp. It's good to see them moving somewhere else.
Agreed. I'm done with that. Done.
So I thought it was interesting that when we saw this little video that the research scientist made, he said day 194 since wildfire was declared and 63 days since the disease abruptly went global. So I guess they discovered whatever's causing the zombies 194 days ago. And
About 6 months? Is that right? I think it's about 6 months ago.
yeah, and then it took 130 days before suddenly it just went global.
Right.
Abruptly, he says.
Abruptly
So
went
who how things happen.
They had a good point in that if it's a virus, wouldn't somebody have natural immunity to it? I mean, is everybody going to be susceptible? Just
I think they could get away with that or not.
yeah.
Say yes or no to that. But
Right.
maybe, yeah.
And did you notice, to catch the, I didn't because I never saw the Andromeda strain, but the wildfire is, I guess, the code in Andromeda strain for whatever it was, that alien thing that infected everybody. And so it's sort of shout out
I think an outbreak or something. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, cool. It's not comic either.
No,
Which has me a little worried. Yeah, like, where are they going with
Where
this?
are they
It's way too
going?
far.
Yeah, exactly.
But I have faith. I have this whole thing on the CDC that I thought might be interesting to kind of let people know some of the details of what that is.
Fire away.
But do you want to go through some notes, or do you want to read this first?
You read that and I'll go through the moments.
Okay, CDC is the Center for Disease Control and Prevention. It's the United States federal agency under the Department of Health and Human Services, and it is based in Atlanta, Georgia. It works to protect public health and safety by providing information to enhance health decisions. Currently, their focus is on to include chronic diseases, disabilities, injury control, workplace hazards, environmental health threats, and terrorism preparedness. They combat emerging diseases and other health risks, including birth defects, West Nile virus, obesity, avian swine, and pandemic flu, E. coli, autorex. I don't understand what that has to do with anything. And bioterrorism, to name a few. In May, the CDC of 94, they admitted to have sent several biological warfare agents to Iraq from 1984 through 1989, including botulinum toxin, West Nile virus, Yersinia pestis, and dengue fever virus.
No
So they
kidding.
have they're involved in bioweapons too. In 2008, the budget was 8.8 billion. Staff number about 15,000, including 170 occupations. Almost 40% have master's degree, 25% have PhD, and 10% have medical degrees. And the CDC has one of the few biosafety level 4 laboratories in the country, as well as one of the only 2 official repositories of smallpox in the world. So biosafety level 4 is like a serious laboratory required for working with dangerous and exotic agents that pose a high individual risk of aerosol transmitted laboratory infections. And you have to wear that big suit that you have, and there's all these levels of protection and airlocks and sprays and things like that. Yeah, and they'll have specific and thorough training handling extremely hazardous infectious agents. Yeah, if anything goes wrong, the whole building is automatically engulfed in fire, it says here, within 2 seconds. No, I'm just kidding.
Did you read Richard Preston's Hot Zone?
Nope, never did.
It's great. It's all about the Ebola virus, and they take you into another lab too in Reston, Virginia, but they also discuss the CDC. CDC seems like a crazy facility. It's the sort of thing I'm glad I don't know much.
But I mean, this isn't in the comic, but it makes sense to me that if somebody said, "Hey, the CDC is right there.
Yeah.
We need to have that, have you part of this somehow." You know?
I was wondering actually when I read the comment, like, you guys
Oh, really?
the CDC,
Oh, yeah.
yeah, I actually thought that. So
Cool.
it's interesting to see. But I hope it doesn't get too contrived, the whole CDC thing. Like I really, it seems like we were talking about this morning too, and they were saying that it seems like with something a facility that secure, it seems unlikely that there's only one crazy doctor left inside of it. That there should be a whole. But the scenario that seems more realistic is that it would be completely secure. It wouldn't have been overtaken by zombies or whatever it was overtaken by, and that they wouldn't have let in the people because they would have been potentially infected. But
Well, we'll see when we get to our next one, the segments. There's a little bit more about this, but I don't want to say anything right now. So
good. Did you notice that suddenly we're all filthy?
Oh no, I didn't notice.
Yeah. Something I was noticing. Maybe it was just something that I looked for. But I was looking the last couple weeks. And I'm like, they're astonishingly clean. And this week they're incredibly
noticed.
filthy. They should not be filthy. The other thing that I have to say, I actually loved Carol just going to town with pickaxe on her dead husband's head. Because I did.
Quite well.
I was really catching Morales for I think it was Birmingham.
When she was doing that, I leaned over to Jenny and I'm like, you do that for me, right? She's like, patting me on the wall.
So I'm done.
Wait, what was the last thing you just said?
Oh, Morales' family. They decided
yeah.
they're like, you know what? We're gonna go with
You guys are nuts.
Yeah, we're gonna try to find our family.
Well, let's see, I had some concerns here. One is kind of already mentioned about the tone, but it's so weird. Like Lori says to Andrea, we've got to take her about Amy, and she says, and I promise we'll do as gentle as we can. And then immediately you see Daryl spiking like in the head, and it's funny, but it's like, am I supposed to be laughing or caring? You know?
I was wondering, is Jill, I think even give her a proper barrel? No, and they,
I don't know. I would bury her, yeah. And then if she crawls out here, it'll be on anyway. And then when Dale and Andrea crouch over Amy talking, there's another tender moment, and we still think Amy might come back to life in tense. And then they cut to Daryl spiking another zombie, and there's a loud rip. And I jumped both times I watched it, so I know that they're probably aware of the effect that they're having.
Yes.
They're trying to do both at the same time.
Yeah,
Like movie of the week and zombie. I felt like this episode was, I don't know if it's just getting to me or more in this episode, but it just feels too melodramatic to me. I mean, I guess I'm just gonna have to live with that because I just think that's the way it is.
Yeah, no, it's changing.
Yeah, and I also have to remind myself, like, okay, so what got me was when actually the part where Andrea pointed the gun at Rick and said, "I know how this safety works," and I'm like, couldn't she just say, "Can you leave me alone for a second? You know, you don't have to threaten to kill somebody."
Have a moment
Yeah,
here.
yeah. And she goes, "I'm all right. Okay, I'm gonna shoot her." But it's all for the purposes of drama.
Right.
And even like a show that I love, like Lost, had moments that were ridiculous,
Yes.
like Jin attacking Michael because Michael had Jin's watch on.
Right,
You know,
right. They made that a big
eating
deal.
the pulp.
And then they had to chain him up and then handcuff him to whatever. Yeah.
That's just drama.
Right, drama.
Okay, let's move on
do.
to Listener Moans, Groans, and Grunts. Brains. We got tweets and emails and a couple calls this week.
Yeah, we did. That's fabulous. This one is from Jason Taylor from our Facebook page. It says T-Dog did have a tool bag as they were walking back to the truck.
Yay. I actually went back and watched, and they were walking along, he had it in his arm, and he has these big beefy arms. So
That's some badass talking, man.
and I was wondering what's really in there. It's
Styrofoam
yeah,
tools.
exactly. Nerd tools. So I hope that they didn't make a point to show him giving those back. It's cool though that they did make a point to have him actually carry the tools back.
Jason.
You're welcome though. Okay, so Gracie Lou on Twitter, she hasn't read the comic and isn't usually a fan of zombie movies. I know through some early tweets, but she loves the show. And so last week I was kind of worried that because Amy died, that some people who weren't used to this kind of thing might get turned off. And I asked her, do you still like it, or were you turned off? And she wrote back, because of the gore or because they killed the main character. Either way, no. I was like this, and then these two big eyes open. It was beyond awesome. So that was cool. But I haven't seen any ratings announcements this morning, so I hope that's not a bad sign.
No, I hope so too. I absolutely hope so.
And we just got another tweet this morning from Gracie Lou. She says, "Are you guys worried that the CDC guy is going to be looking for some fresh human brains?"
Oh, maybe that was a sample.
Yeah.
Oh, maybe the TS19. I was assuming the TS19 was a fresh zombie sample, but maybe the TS19 is maybe the
Human brains.
brain.
Yeah, people who've been out in the world.
Right,
Maybe that's why he's letting them in.
Maybe he's gonna kill all the rest of them.
And Jenny did confirm, since she's a pathologist, that those were brains he was looking at.
Really?
That's what she said. Yeah.
Oh, nice. That helps me know too. I got
all the
that. Yeah. This next one's a haiku from Jose Z and on Twitter. We love the haikus. And it says, "I love your podcast, but I'm not good at haikus. Refrigerator."
I like that one.
That's awesome. That's awesome, Jose.
He says maybe I should have written haiku that involves zombies.
No,
Doesn't matter.
no. You read haiku, they incorporated word haiku, and refrigerator.
It all makes sense to me anyway.
Badass.
This is from Keith, who commented on our website, walkingdicks.com. He says, "There seems to be many times throughout the shows where I have concerns for the characters based off of previous zombie attack moments from other movies, such as when characters are swimming or fishing in water. I feel as though a waterlogged zombie will ruin the moment and start chomping on somebody. Do you ever have a deja vu moments like that?" Yeah, and I like that the show makes you think something like that's going to happen and it doesn't always happen.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so it's good that they're using these things that we're used to.
And
twisting them.
forests that have little rustling leaves and things like that. Could be anything.
Yeah.
And they've used that a couple times too. They're in the woods and they're
Yeah,
rustling.
and then they lay down and have sex.
Yes, exactly.
And he continues, one good thing from all these zombie movies seems to be the invaluable training they're receiving in the event that zombie war kicks off.
Agreed. It's invaluable. We'll have all of us look back to it. It's too bad that none of the people who are in The Walking Dead have ever heard of zombies or have ever seen a zombie movie because they would know exactly what to do.
Yeah, we'll do much better.
We will. This one, Jason Karen, I continue to love your show. Keep up the great work. So from listening to you talk about the show, lots of things you say help me like the show just that much more. It's really cool that some of the actors have been married. We agree. Kudos on your show again. Hey, here's a recipe I found online. I haven't tried it yet, but it sounds good. Sounds like you only need one. Oh, it's a zombie. It's a drink called the zombie. All right, so great. I put this on our website, but it involves white rum, dark rum, Bacardi, pineapple juice, lime juice, passion fruit syrup. Sounding complicated. Good thing you only one dash of Angostura bitters, brown sugar, blah 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 blah. We will so put this
So
on
this
the
is
website.
I had written on the website that we needed recipes for the zombie for
Yeah,
next
right.
week. So this is
We're gonna do something.
yeah, we have to have everybody bring one kind of rum or something like
I
that.
think that's a good idea.
That's from Vicky.
Oh, it's Vicky. Yay. Thanks, Vicky.
Thanks, Vicky. Okay, this is from Sean in Houston. He says, "Hey guys, theory about Merle. I never read the comics, so forgive me, this is already known and way off. Did anyone ever think that all the zombies getting all the way up to camp is not a coincidence? This was my first thought. You're right when Daryl said he's going to be taking some vengeance back to camp. And Merle did steal the truck, so he could have found a way to take all the zombies in the truck and drop them off at camp, possibly guided them the rest of the way by foot so as not to be heard. Just a thought. This has been coming up on other podcasts and message boards and stuff. People think that Merle did that. I hope not, because I think that would be dumb.
Yeah.
I think
How could they have you driven
Yeah.
with them? I just don't know.
Still down back there.
Quit fighting me.
Yeah. But I mean, even if he couldn't, they'd already seen Greg Nicotero eating a deer, so it seemed like the zombies were just getting closer to the camp. But who knows? Maybe you're right. We'll see.
And I think probably they're just, I don't think the zombies came all the way from Atlanta. I think they're just local zombies.
Country zombies?
Country zombies.
Or suburban zombies? He goes on. Also, I'm sorry, but I think everyone was way out of line when it came to Jim and his digging. Agreed. He was not bothering anyone. Why do people always think they have to take control of other people's business and lives? Clearly, Jim had family issues he was working through. They could have left Jim with some water and went back to camp. If I was Jim, I would have left the camp after they untied me. That was so unnecessary. You don't need people thinking the group can just unanimously control you when you're not harming anyone. Once again, just thought Sean in Houston, soldier, scholar, scoundrel. I totally agree. That was way out of line, I thought.
Yep, I do too. Except it was scaring. But I guess when you have a situation where you're in a group and it's as a soldier, Sean, you probably know that if you're in a war situation and one of the soldiers is off doing something that others consider scary and kind of crazy, why is he randomly digging all these things into the grave? You can kind of see where, you have to be careful that every little person in the group is still sane.
Yeah.
You know? You have to be more careful about that.
Yeah, I was thinking digging is harming, but I guess if you're acting crazy and you're digging graves, then people might think that you're going to put someone in those graves.
You know, and you don't have the luxury of letting people do whatever they want to when you're in that situation like that.
Well, especially if they were afraid he was going to kill people and put them in the graves. That's probably what was going on.
Yeah.
Now that I think about it.
Yeah.
He's a scoundrel.
But we love you, Sean. Okay, this next one is from Lisa. It says, hey, Karen and Jason. Long time listener, first time writer. Couldn't resist that one. Anyway, I was reading an online review of episode 3 today and thought this quote was particularly funny. This was a character development heavy episode with more violence, heap on misogynist assholes than undead, who are actually progressive individuals, almost always appreciating women for their brains at the models. Oh, that's awesome. I love the idea of a progressive zombie. Lisa.
Lisa is, by the way, the host of the party that we're going to be doing our podcast for next week.
Oh, right on. And Lisa, progressive zombies are everywhere. I think California State Legislature. Just saying.
Right to your zombie today. Okay, this one starts out, wow, just wow. Awesome episode. There wasn't anything that I didn't like. The terror and the tragedy played out perfectly. I was completely caught up in it all. Things I liked. Rick's quote talks with Morgan, his desperation, city, and distance. So well done. You like that too.
I did.
Glenn's emotional plea. Our people going that road over there. We are a part of them. I love that he didn't back down. So moving. Me too. Typical Glenn. Dale's story and complete understanding of what Andrea was going through.
We love that too.
Yep, they're gonna hook up. Carol finishing off Ed with the pickaxe. Oh man, I didn't think she was gonna stop. I couldn't watch it all. I'm guessing she got some closure.
Yeah, you think?
The growing divide between Rick and Shane. I really felt for Shane when Rick made the comment about how Shane would feel differently if it were his family. Shane was so hurt. And as soon as you feel pity for Shane, he goes and he's gonna Rick. I love how you could see the internal argument play over Shane's face.
Yeah, that was a great job.
The caravan, there was such a sense of suffering, but also one of hope. The music was perfect. Jim, so tragic. I love everything about the story, and he had some wonderful lines. Quote, the sound you hear is God laughing while you make plans. I was all teary-eyed when the group was saying goodbye to Jim, especially Jackie. Yeah, that was a good scene with her kissing on the cheek.
Yeah.
It was such an emotional scene, Sob.
Yeah.
The CDC guy, I'm guessing that some comic fans will not be happy with this deviation, but I thought it was great. Wait, this is from Grace really about Jim. Anyway, but I thought it was great. The whole thing was so reminiscent of Lost for me, including the part at the end when the door opens and the light is coming through.
Yeah.
Just hear a lot telling Boone, hope is inside.
Oh, she's good.
Can't wait to hear what you thought of this episode, Grace. I agree. Thanks for writing, Grace.
Yeah, thank you, Grace. I'm the last fan. Yay.
Yeah. So we got some more iTunes reviews, but no haiku, so no beating iTunes reviews. And let's move on to listener calls. So we got a really nice call from Bill over at Behind the Cutting Edge podcast that I'm going to play. But I just wanted to know we're going to be instituting the same policy for calls as for reviews, which is that we just won't read or play calls that are just all praise and compliments because I really love those and it feels great to get them and good to appreciate everything. But I want the podcast to be more about what he did, less about me and Karen. So if you want to make those calls, that's awesome. But for now, after this episode, we're just going to play ones that like talk about the show and stuff.
Or that are in haiku.
Or if you call in haiku, we'll play it 3 times. Okay, so here's Bill's call.
This is Bill from Behind the Cutting Edge, Walking Dead podcast. I just have to say that I love you guys' show so much. We record our show after watching the show usually on Tuesdays, and I have to refrain from listening to yours, and it's very hard to do that because I can't wait to hear your show. Jason and Karen has such a great chemistry together, and I thoroughly enjoy it. And the interviews blew me away. And I just want to say that I would love to have I could have a beer with both of you. All right, love you guys. Later.
That's great. Bill, Reverend Bar, I'm buying you a beer.
Yeah, that'd be awesome. These guys, I listen to their podcast. Sometimes they're really funny, and they're I love their accents.
Yeah. They're right up on it.
Thanks, Bill. This one is from Jamie, who was on the show a few episodes ago.
Jason and Karen, this is Jamie. Thought this week I'd call and actually give my top 5 things that I like about the show. So, number 5, I like the part where Rick was in Shane's sight and that moment that he was debating him and this look on his face when he got caught by Dale. I like that moment. I like the tension there. Number 4 was more of a one-liner. I like when Rick was talking about Andrea and looked over and said, I'm going to go tell her how it is. And then as she pulled the gun out, that was a great bit.
Agreed completely. That was awesome. I don't think we ever mentioned that. I could be more.
Number 3, I really liked monologues with Morgan. He was doing over the radio as he was talking, kind of narrating the show, but I like the way it showed Rick's personality and his perseverance and his commitment to the promise that he made. Number
I completely disagree with that one.
4, I liked the denial that Jim went through about being bit, where he was saying it was nothing, don't tell anybody, and just kept repeating over and over again, I'm fine, I'm okay.
And then by the way, and Jackie's like,
Yeah, right away.
wow, right of us.
And the number 1 thing that I liked is kind of take off of the number 2, but it was, I liked that they got in the transformation to a zombie, and they did it through Amy and through Jim. Amy from the dead, coming back from the dead, doing it, that whole thing. It reminded me of the movie like when I was a kid, and like the Hulk, and shows like that. So the favorite part was when he actually made the transformation, and that was where he waited the whole episode for. They did the same thing with Jim as he was sitting in there, and the poison or the disease was taking over his body, flashing the zombie faces. I like the thing that you said in that episode. So that was my number 1. So if you guys appreciate the show, I'm really like your podcast, keep it going, especially episode 13. That one rocked.
Why do you think you like that one?
I remember that one. What was
I
it?
thought we skipped 13.
Did we
It was
skip
bad.
that?
Yeah.
With the spooky missing episode. Missing episode.
I'm going to take it off the list. So we'll be not doing the work. Thanks. Yeah, that's what I meant. The whole thing. That's a good analogy.
Yeah. Thank you. By the way, do you know that nobody said that their favorite moment from the episode was anything to do with being inside the CDC?
Oh, you mean the guy inside the
Yeah,
CC?
yeah.
Yeah, no, we did. Here's a call from Vicky.
Good morning, this is Vicky calling again. I just have some comments about the last episode that I wanted to read for you. As a fan who has not read the comic book, when his characters are introduced, it would be helpful if you're talking about them to give a very brief description of them so we get to know better. When you just name the parts, probably talking about, because I'm not familiar with the characters ahead of time. Just a little bit. Anyway.
I agree. This is as a reader of the comic, when I'm reading along, sometimes I get the characters confused. And for a while there, Robert Kirkman was putting like a who's who in the back of the comic, a picture of each person with their name and whether they're still alive or not.
Yeah.
So this show has so many characters that it's hard to keep them straight. But I did notice listening back that sometimes we just blast their name and it wasn't quite clear who it was.
Right,
So we'll try to do that. But it's hard because there's so many of them.
Okay.
I'll try. I'll just interrupt here a lot.
That will happen.
But it is tough sometimes. There's so many.
Yeah. On the, I think on one of the websites, I can't remember which one it is, but they have a glossary of characters, which is nice.
Oh yeah, I think it's on the. If you search for Walking Dead Wiki.
Yeah, it's nice.
Anyway, I loved the episode. It was a little dramatic in the beginning. Guillermo, I'm not a big fan of his acting.
This is back to the
Yeah.
Yeah. Guillermo, he kind of has this eye twitching thing. Did you know that?
No, I didn't.
It's like, and this and that.
He was just leaning real hard there.
But I loved when Abuela came out and he totally just let her take over and she did her thing and she wasn't afraid. And I like the fact that he, even though he seems like a gang member or something leader, that his grandmother is not willing to her. So that's good. And I don't like Sean. I keep trying to like him. I can't see what the friendship is between him and Rick. Didn't go into that much. I didn't like him from the very first scene when him and Rick were sitting in the car before the apocalypse even occurred. I can't find anything to like about him, so I really don't care about him. The character. But the one thing I loved at the very end was that the zombies actually surprised the people in camp. They were sitting around all relaxed and kind of talking, and you know, the zombies was on them, and they snuck up on him. I didn't think zombies were able to be sneaky like that, so I thought that was really a cool part of the story. Anyway, keep up the good work, and I'll be listening. Take care. Bye.
It's sneaky.
Zombies can be sneaky.
Yeah, they're sneaky in the book too. And I asked Charlie Adler, the artist, about that, and he didn't seem to understand what I was talking about, even though he draws it. I was confused because they're able to eat people, so they got to be something.
Yeah, exactly. They're sneaky in the list.
Just like me. Okay, we had one more. Actually, we had some callers left. Zombie sounds, and I kind of strung them all together. So one's from Vicky, one's from Scott Williams and his friend, and one's from Bill from Cutting Edge.
What up? Extra.
Wow. I'm kind of hungry right now, and I just remember something. I think something was probably the best zombie sound I've ever heard.
Stick my gun there. All right, that's it for this week's Listener Notes. Stick with us. We'll be back with some comic talk, and next week on The Walking Dead. Stay tuned. And news about the show. Okay, we're back, and it's time for some news about the show. Karen.
All right. Wait, that music's great. Who's that? Who's that music again?
That's Chad.
Is that you making the zombie sounds? Oh, right. I can sing again. Do you know Curious Zombie?
That was kind of like a Scooby-Doo. That's what my inspiration.
That's good. That's really good. So this morning I was a little bit late showing up because I stopped at not one, not two, but 3 different places trying to look for the Entertainment Weekly magazine.
I know, I couldn't find it either. Is it selling out or something? I was going to show my family at Thanksgiving and say, I interviewed that dude, but
Yeah,
didn't have it.
I looked in 7-Eleven, Walgreens, and Safeway.
It's not yet.
It might not be. It might be so. Safeway didn't have last week's Entertainment Weekly. Thanks, Safeway, for being right on. So I couldn't find it, but apparently they were on the cover of Entertainment Weekly. It would be great to get it. So maybe by next week.
Yeah.
It says Walking Dead lands on Entertainment Weekly's cover. As the magazine asks, how in the world does a show that begins with police shooting a little girl, albeit a zombified girl in the head, ever make it on television? How did it become the hottest new series of the year? So that's the cover story for Entertainment Weekly. So I'm going to be trying to find that this week. Maybe next week we're going to know.
Yeah, totally. I'm going to read that. I'm going to pick it up for sure.
Also, Wired magazine came out with the list of things that they're thankful for, and one of the things they're thankful for is AMC's awesome adaptation of the Walking Dead comic series. There's finally a zombie story in mainstream that relies on deeply drawn characters, not just scaring viewers. It says. So I thought that was great.
Cool. Okay, let's move on to some comic talk. If you don't want to hear anything about the comic, if you haven't read the comic, just skip to the next section if you want as well. Because we're going to talk about how the show is similar, how different what happens in the comic. We might also talk about some things coming out of the comic that could also happen in the show.
A little bit spoilery.
So the way that it was similar, that I noticed is the main one that was like right out of the comic was Jim wanting to be left back.
Yep. Even though he wasn't in the comic, he was left at that original camp. He was left at Coria. He wasn't moved anywhere and then left, right?
Yeah. Well, did they walk him out in the woods or something?
Yeah, they sure did.
But he was leaned up against a tree
Just like
in
in the show. Yeah, absolutely. And the other thing that was similar was that they had a big zombie attack. Last episode, they had a big zombie attack, and then they're like, okay, this is clearly not working for us. This place is not safe. We've got to go. And so that was like in the comic as well.
Yeah, and Shane hates Rick.
Right, exactly.
He's jealous and conflicted and wants Lori back and all that.
Right, but he meets a different end in the comic than he doesn't with him. So let's just say.
Yep.
And so that's different too.
When Dale is consoling Andrea over Amy, he says, since his wife passed, quote, "You girls are the first people I cared anything for," which made me realize, because we didn't really see in the show that he might have been close with them.
Yeah.
It just seemed like they were all kind of part of the crowd, but this line made me know that, okay, just like in the comic, he'd been hanging out with them.
Yeah.
And in the comic, I think it kind of flirted with the idea that the three of them were getting on.
Did you really?
I don't know. You didn't think that?
No.
That's what I thought. Because Donna was not approving. He's like, those girls shouldn't be in the RV with him.
Yeah, that's
what
right.
she thought was going on.
Yeah, she was judging and disagreeing with everyone.
I was judging that to one, but I was highly approving it. This is the first time that we've seen them all caravanning, which you see a lot in the comic with RV out front.
Exactly. So aren't they all in the RV in the comic?
Oh, yeah. I thought maybe sometimes they might be one vehicle, maybe not all in RV.
There are a lot of cars now.
Yeah.
Which is good. You can have backup vehicles. That's all good.
As long as you can find gas. But Jenny mentioned RVs get like 7 miles per gallon, so hopefully they can find all the gas.
Yeah, well, I think he even said in one of Rick's rants in front of the CEC, I think he even said, "We're no gas."
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, no food, no gas, bad decision making.
Right. Yeah. Way to lead them, Rick. Yeah. Nice job. One plot point that I found interesting between that was different in the comic and the show is that in the comic it's really pretty cold. It's getting into winter and they're freezing, and that is one of the reasons why for a while the zombies aren't coming to camp because it's so cold. They figure out that it makes the zombies kind of slow and lethargic, and when it starts warming up, the zombies get sort of more active. And so, but I can imagine the limitations of film. You can't really bundle people up and make it out like it's really cold when it's sweltering at 130 degrees in outside of Atlanta. They could not have done that, or at least not that comfortably.
No way. I don't see that happening. And yeah, I mean, in the comic, Rick wanted to leave, but Shane wanted to stay. And in the show, he's all for leaving. He wants to go to the military fort, something or other. And then Carl shoots Shane dead. So that's different.
That is different.
The Morales and his family leave, as you mentioned earlier, and some had speculated that they're stand-ins for Alan and Donna and their twins, but it looks like that's not happening because they're gone. I bet you'll see them again, but they're gone.
Do you think that we're going to see Morgan now that he's left that note for Morgan?
Yeah, I do think we're going to see Morgan.
Yeah.
Yep.
I think so too.
The CDC was not in the comic.
Nope.
That's way different.
That's huge. Huge. Yeah, that's a big thing in the episode.
And Shane, Fort Benning. Shane wants to go to Fort Benning, and if I kind of wonder, well, if he wants to go to Fort Benning, why didn't he already go to Fort Benning? Or are they camping?
Right at the quarry. Exactly. No.
Do you think that Shane will survive the season?
No, I think
he's gonna die next episode.
I do. I don't know. He's a compelling actor, and we've seen that they don't feel like they have to follow the exact flow of the comic. So I don't know. Next week's episode is gonna be a long one or an hour.
I think it's just an hour. Too bad.
I know we have to wait. I think it's something close to about a year for the next. Yeah.
I don't think they've said it, but they've suggested it'll be October.
And then when we interviewed Steven Yeun, I think he also said something like, "Yeah, we're filming next summer, so that it'll be premiering in the fall."
Yeah,
like great. We tried to get him to pull some strings, have it earlier, but I think we're gonna wait for a year. Yeah, we should. They refuse us that too.
Yeah, we need to dare on the show. Okay, anything else you got about the comic? Okay, let's move on to next week on The Walking Dead. Again, if you don't want to hear any spoilers, we're going to read a synopsis and cast list here. So next week is episode 6, the final episode for the first season, and it's called TS19, which we know is what the doctor called the sample, right? Is the freshest sample that he's had. Rain sample.
It's the freshest
so it's
rain
gone,
sample.
so it's burned up. So maybe they need a new TS19.
Maybe they do.
The synopsis says Rick and the group are allowed into the CDC by a strange doctor, but all is not what it seems in their newfound haven.
That's great.
The cast list doesn't list any of the Morales or his family, and no Andrew Rothenberg as Jim.
So that might be the last we saw Jim.
I think it might be, yeah.
Maybe he's off and having a nice little time with his zombie family.
They should totally show that at the very end. Like when all the characters are dead,
Right.
just that little note of upbeatness at the very end.
Yeah, with like some nice music, happy music, and them keeping
Has a baseball hat on. They're all eating a cow or something. Mary Hopkins is listed as hospital patient, and MB Oliphant as nurse, and Lisa Marie Thomas as ward nurse, Ken Meld as infected doctor. So that's why I said we learned a little bit more lately. I think maybe there are some more people in there, either that or maybe they'll do some flashbacks or something.
Is Ken Meld the doctor we saw?
Oh, it might be.
Remember he touched the sample and went through his love and went through the secondary love too?
I think it is him, yeah.
And was that Truman's best
I was
buddy?
going to say that,
The Truman Show guy.
I think it's Ken Meld.
Yeah.
He's infected.
Yeah,
and
I think so too.
Dave R. Watkins plays dead soldier, but it's uncredited. Sounds like the role of a lifetime.
Later.
Wow. Dave, if you're listening, I'd love if you'd write and tell us what it was like. Dead soldier. There's also Lenny James, who plays Morgan Jones.
Oh.
Which is why I think he'll be back.
Right on.
IMDb says so. But then again, IMDb also lists Adam Mirovich as Ed.
Not exactly the most accurate source
Yeah,
of information.
and Michael Rooker as Merle. But I think maybe Merle will come back. I don't know.
I don't think it's last week's in a row.
Let's see. Flashbacks. Morgan is back in episode 5 when Rick is trying to reach Morgan over the CD. It seemed kind of pointless to me, but this is why I think it wasn't because he's listening to cast list for episode 6. Yep. So that'd be cool. I hope you get to see him. But it's a little curious that it lists Morgan but not Dwayne.
Yeah, it might be the zombie Morgan.
Maybe, yeah. Well, I guess I was in comments. Okay, so that's it for next week on The Walking Dead. Are you ready to close out the show?
I am.
Good. Okay, that's our show, episode 17. Thanks everybody for listening, and thanks, Karen.
Thank you, JC.
Another fun one. One more to go before the end of the show. After the end of the show, I want to take this opportunity to remind you that Nathan Melstead wrote our intro and our outro music that you're hearing right now. It's called Music for Me, and if you like, you can get it on iTunes. And he's really talented, and we would love it if he would write some news music for us. Just incidentally. Hi, Nate. But yeah, you can, like I said, you can get this on iTunes. Music for Me. I also want to thank the Walking Dead fan club for posting news items for us. They're online. You can just Google Walking Dead fan club and link it through, and they're great. They have forums and all kinds of news and contests for original art from the comic and just all kinds of activities going on over there. And we'd love to get your emails, your tweets, all that. So please get in touch with us. How can you get in touch with us?
Okay, you can email us at brains@walkingdeadcast.com.
You can call us at 650-485-DEAD. That's 650-485-3323.
You can check out our website and leave comments at walkingdeadcast.com.
And as I mentioned at the beginning, you can get us at twitter.com/JasonKaren, or you can go to Facebook and search for Walking Dead Cast. And tune in next week for Karen's amazing zombie sound. You're not going to believe it.
He's going to record next time around right now. That's what all it's going to be.
All right, that's our show.
Thanks for listening. Don't get it.
Bye, Jim.
And finally, a story that challenges hosts to HBO. Oh, sorry. Can you fix this long pause and edit this? Thanks. Wow, that's friendship right there.
That's Andrea. That's got laughing like plans.
It's hard to remember now, but the internet used to be fun.
I can't believe how easy it is to surf the net. Surf stuff.
On Long Shadow, Breaking the Internet, we'll trace how a tool that once fueled democracy.
Opposition activists organize them on Facebook.
Became a weapon aimed at the very heart of it.
You're watching the unraveling of our democracy right now.
From Longlead and PRS, this is Long Shadow, Breaking the Internet. Subscribe now wherever you get your podcasts.
Hi, I'm Rick Beck, and I'm Royce Yakov. Welcome to our chart-topping podcast from Harvard Business School, Think Big, Buy Small. This series lets you in on a special way to become an entrepreneur, how to buy your own business, be your own boss, and get the financial benefits of your efforts. Entrepreneurship through acquisition involves searching for an existing, enduringly profitable, smaller business and buying it, usually from a retiring founder.
Back for a brand new season, our conversations with guests from all backgrounds and different stages of the entrepreneurship through acquisition journey. From those considering whether this path is right for them, all the way through to those who have sold businesses they bought as searchers and ran as CEOs. Thousands of smaller firms are sold every year.